Using miniatures. It's an age-old film technique, and this is part of my miniature set for my latest music video, Miles Away. Now, these are meant to represent the risers that a band would stand on in a 1960s television show. But of course, I couldn't afford to build a giant soundstage, so instead, I did this. Check it out. I'm sorry, I was just watching my band. Last week we discussed the creation of the track of my latest single, Miles Away. But now we're going to take a deeper look into the way I made my music video on a $40 budget, utilizing friends and family as help, in doing the directing and editing myself. So I'm a musician, not a filmmaker, but I'm a firm believer that art is about having a vision and following it. The skill level allows the artist to achieve their vision faster, but overall, it's about consistently making mistakes until the art you're making is in line with your expectations. So I knew I wanted scenes that were akin to that of vintage 1960s television variety shows. Stuff that featured iconic musical performances. Stuff like Ed Sullivan, or Shindig, or Upbeat. I love the expansiveness of those humongous sets. But remember, I'm working on a shoestring budget, so I employed the age-old film technique of forced perspective. So my risers were actually painted cardboard cylinders, and the big Weber sign was actually comprised of wall decor, both found at a local craft store. I constructed a miniature set in my bedroom using fishing line to hang this Weber sign. Then I photographed it in a multitude of angles to get the perfect shot that matched the perspective of a large TV soundstage, the shot that I envisioned. Then we recorded the live action bits at the University of Akron TV studio. Big shout out to my bud Tanner Martin. He's going to make an appearance in this video a little bit later, but let's give him a ding. I set up a real drum riser to give myself height and recorded each version of myself, the singer, the drummer, the guitar player, bass player, against a green screen. To account for the different heights of each riser in the model, I adjusted the shot's height accordingly to get the perspective just right. The fashion and equipment had to be just right too, so I was wearing vintage clothes and using all throwback musical gear that was in line with the aesthetic. Then, it's just about putting everything together, and you have this shot. A full rock band, all comprised of the same guy, on a gigantic soundstage. There is also a cool opening bit where the door opens, and this door appears to be part of a seemingly humongous space. This was achieved using another retro film trick, that being a matte painting style overlay. I created my own overlay in Photoshop to change the setting of this door from being in a cluttered hallway in my recording studio and instead placing it in an expansive room. Also, there were bits that were shot on vintage Super 8 cameras.
2, 1, 0.
1, 2, 3.
This was shot and developed by Tanner Martin. So we're going to turn it over to him, and he's going to tell you how he was able to get 4 exposures on the screen at a time.
Hi there, my name's Tanner Martin, and I'd like to tell you about my part in helping with this film. For the part of the video where we used motion picture film, we had to do something slightly unusual. So Michael came to me with this idea. 2 images on screen at the same time, where one's running forward and one's running in reverse. We used this camera right here. Once we exposed the side where the scenes that are moving forward, we took the film out, as so, flipped it back up here, put it back in the camera. What we had to do in addition, so we had the other set of images right side up, is flip the camera upside down. So that would give us, on a joined 16mm wide film, one set of images that were right side up, running forward, and then another set of images right side up, but running backwards. Typically a film lab, once you send the film off, will split the film after it's developed, and then send them back to you in one strand so you have one long continuous 8mm wide film. But I took the film home, I developed it, I did not split it, so the film stayed 16mm wide, so we would still have those 2 sets of images right next to each other. And that is how you end up with this finished film right here.
Thanks, Tanner. I appreciate your willingness to be part of my projects ever since we were in high school. It means a lot to me. So this was an inside look at how I created a music video without being an actual filmmaker or having a budget, but instead taking a vision and seeing it through. I think all artists should make little recaps of their projects like this so that we can all learn from each other and build upon each other's works. If you haven't already, go back and check out the Miles Away video, and you'll see all these little tricks in context, and I can't wait to share with you what I'm cooking up next. Thank you. I'm Michael Weber. Time to get back to recording.